Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve their goals effortlessly, while others struggle despite having all the motivation in the world? We are all familiar with the adrenaline rush of motivation, that initial spark that ignites our desire to reach a new goal or embark on a new journey. Whether it's losing weight, learning a new language, starting a new business, or any other personal ambition, we often start with a surge of excitement and enthusiasm. But as time goes by, we notice a dwindling in this initial zeal. This is where the paradox of motivation and discipline comes into play. Motivation, while powerful, is a fleeting emotion. It's the spark that starts the fire, but it's not enough to keep it burning. It's like a gust of wind. It comes and goes, and its strength varies from moment to moment. It's unpredictable, and relying solely on it can leave us feeling stuck when it inevitably fades. Now, let's consider discipline. Unlike motivation, discipline doesn't rely on the heat of the moment. It's not about how you feel, but about what you do consistently. It's the fuel that keeps the fire burning long after the initial spark of motivation has faded. It's like the steady, constant breeze that keeps the sailboat moving, regardless of the weather. So, why do we often struggle to achieve our goals, even when we are highly motivated? It's because we tend to overestimate the power of motivation and underestimate the importance of discipline. Motivation gets us started, but discipline keeps us going. It's the unsung hero of personal growth. But don't get me wrong, motivation is vital, and it plays a significant role in our journey towards self-improvement. But it's only one piece of the puzzle. To achieve long-term success and consistent growth, we need to pair our motivation with discipline. It's not about the intensity of your motivation, but the consistency of your discipline. Let's delve deeper into this. Imagine two runners. One is highly motivated but lacks discipline. The other is not particularly motivated but is very disciplined. Who do you think will achieve their running goals? Let's dive into this hypothetical scenario. We've got two runners. Let's call them Alex and Bailey. Alex is brimming with motivation. He's got an infectious energy, the kind that lights up a room. He's always talking about his running goals, and when he's in the mood, boy, can he run. But here's the catch. Alex only runs when he feels like it. His training schedule is as unpredictable as the weather, and his progress, well, it reflects that inconsistency. Bailey, on the other hand, isn't the most motivated. She doesn't have that spark that Alex does. In fact, some days she doesn't even feel like lacing up her running shoes. But she does it anyway. Rain or shine, tired or energized, Bailey sticks to her training schedule. Her progress isn't always quick, but it's consistent. Bit by bit, she's improving, moving steadily towards her running goals. Now, if we were to place bets on who'd reach their running goals first, where would your money go? On the high-energy, sporadic training of Alex or the steady, disciplined approach of Bailey? The answer might seem counterintuitive, but it's Bailey who would likely come out on top. Why? Because discipline trumps motivation. Motivation is a fantastic starting point, but it's fleeting, unpredictable. Discipline, however, is reliable. It's the force that gets you out of bed on cold mornings, that pushes you to run that extra mile when your legs are screaming at you to stop. Through Bailey's story, we see that discipline, even in the absence of high motivation, can lead to consistent progress and ultimately success. Alex's story, however, shows us that motivation without discipline can lead to a cycle of starts and stops, of rapid progress and stagnation. The disciplined runner's success shows us that motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you going. Now that we've seen how discipline trumps motivation in our story, let's look at why this is the case from a scientific perspective. At the heart of discipline lies a simple yet powerful process, the formation of habits. When we consistently engage in an action, our brains start to automate this behavior, moving it from our conscious thought to an automatic response. This is why you can get in your car and drive to work without consciously thinking about every turn. It's not that you're on autopilot, but rather your brain has developed a habit. But what does this have to do with discipline? Well, when we exercise discipline, we're essentially creating new habits. These habits don't require the same levels of motivation or willpower to execute because they've become part of our automatic repertoire. For instance, When you discipline yourself to wake up at 6 every morning, it might be tough initially, but over time, your body adjusts and you start waking up at 6 without the struggle. You've moved the action from being a task requiring motivation to a habit that happens almost instinctively. Moreover, discipline cultivates resilience and grit, two crucial elements for long-term success. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from failures and setbacks, while grit is the unyielding passion for long-term goals. Studies show that individuals who display high levels of discipline also exhibit greater resilience and grit. This isn't surprising because discipline, by its very nature, requires us to push through difficulties and maintain focus on our goals, thereby fostering resilience and grit. So, while motivation is the spark that might get you started, it's the discipline, the formation of habits, and the development of resilience and grit that keep you going, especially when the going gets tough. As it turns out, discipline isn't just about willpower. It's about building the habits and resilience necessary for long-term success. So, we've learned that discipline is crucial for personal growth, but how can we cultivate it in our own lives? Cultivating discipline is not about sudden, drastic changes. It's about slow, consistent, and purposeful actions. It starts with setting clear, achievable goals. Think about what you want to achieve in the long run. Is it a healthier lifestyle, a new skill, a career milestone? Once you have a clear vision of your end game, you can then break it down into smaller, manageable tasks. Now, let's say you want to run a marathon. You wouldn't just wake up one day and run 26 miles, would you? Of course not. You'd start small, maybe a mile or two, gradually increasing your distance as your stamina improves. This same principle applies to discipline. Start with small tasks that contribute to your larger goal and gradually increase your efforts as your discipline strengthens. Creating routines can also be a powerful tool in building discipline. When we create routines, we're essentially programming our brains to expect and accept certain behaviors at specific times. It's like setting an internal alarm clock that rings when it's time to exercise, study, or even take a break. The key here is consistency. The more consistent you are with your routine, the easier it becomes to stick to it. But remember, cultivating discipline isn't just about hard work and routines. It's also about maintaining a positive mindset. Celebrate your small victories. Did you stick to your routine for a whole week? Great. Reward yourself. Did you achieve a mini goal? Pat yourself on the back. Celebrating these victories, no matter how small, can motivate you to keep going and reinforce your disciplined habits. Cultivating discipline is like growing a plant. It requires time, patience, and consistent care. You might not see the results immediately, but with each passing day, you're nurturing a habit that will eventually bear fruit. Cultivating discipline might not be easy, but with these strategies, it's definitely possible. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the power of discipline in our journey of personal growth. Consider discipline as the backbone of personal development. It's the invisible hand that guides us forward, even when the path is steep and the weather is harsh. It's the unyielding anchor that keeps us grounded as the waves of distractions, procrastination, and self-doubt crash against us. Remember the tale of the two runners? The one who relied on motivation alone fell short, while the one who fostered discipline kept going, regardless of the conditions. Discipline, not motivation, was the true champion in that race. It was the steady, reliable force that carried our runner to the finish line.